guys, it's Missy Wolf, and I'm here with Nancy Hahn, who is one of the world's most impressive female entrepreneurs in the entertainment industry. I don't know how you do everything you do, Nancy, but holy cow, your resume is huge, and I just want to know, how did you decide to get started in the entertainment industry?
Well, thank you so much. You're too kind, Missy, and it wasn't a straight line. When I was in college, I was a psychology major and education major, so I guess that applied with everything going forward in the entertainment business. But I always was a little girl in ballet class when my parents could afford it, which wasn't very much, and through dance, and then I used to write my own little musicals there as a child. So I would literally, I was one 5-year-old song dance. I used to make the dance, kind of what I do now so many years later, but I used to make up the dance, make up the song, and make up the story. And I guess that set the stage for everything then that has come after.
Right. Well, and for those that don't know, I mean, you seriously have done so many different things in the entertainment industry. It really is so incredibly impressive. Like, it blew my mind. You know, you have the I Read to Know iHeart Radio, the 24-hour station. You're the only female who's built a TV station and ran it for 25 years. I want to know how you built that as well. Like, all of these things that you've done are so amazing, and I don't think that anyone could ever just sit down and say, hey, I'm going to do this one day and have it all turn out like this. This is not something I think the normal person would think they could do, and everything that you have done.
Well, the TV, getting back to the psychology and education and dance background, my first job after college, and I was just about 21 years old. I made sure I finished a little bit early because I had to get to work, and was an elementary school teacher. And ironically, it was a program where they have elementary school teachers who can also teach a fine art, hence my fine art being ballet and dance. And contiguously, I was teaching dance all over the place too. And my principal at the time, my boss at the time, who I'm still friends with to this day, said, we're having the TV cameras and we really want to showcase the dancing plus the academic teachers of our performing arts school. So I was one of the teachers selected, and my students who were just doing a wonderful job of reflecting the beauty of the performing arts, academic school program for children, were on TV. That was not the first time I was on TV, but because I had done this, that, and the other thing as a teenager. However, it was a catalyst for me getting very amazed and enchanted by the magic of TV and what it can bring people and all that good stuff. And so I researched Spectrum, which is a fancy name for the airwaves. That all of this tech stuff is built upon, and it's analogous to beachfront property. And so, long story short, I was thinking, that I would, gender and age and background aside, I wanted to try to build a TV station, an independent TV station that would fill a void that I saw in the marketplace and also create a niche. And then back then, there was very little niche programming, so there was a big void.
Right.
Now, also, broadcast media at that time was, and actually, and still disappointingly today, it's very underserved by women and minorities. And back then, it was extraordinarily underserved. I was a complete enigma, and so that was. But I saw, I guess the way things manifest is I see the finished product and project. I see it. I really see it, and then you do all the work, and you do have to take some big. I'd say you get a lot of beating up, I guess, along the way. I mean, it's hard. So I think Edison put it well when he said it's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. So you truly get, you see, but if you see that vision and you just, go for it, backing it up with a lot of work, being willing to take a lot of rejection and a lot of knocks along the way, and you get right back up. I had, there was adversity in my house as a child, so I was used to that. I was used to kind of standing up and against adversity, and that kind of set the stage. So I built a broadcast TV station from scratch. It was a 24-hour TV station, and every one of my peers was a male, a white male, and so I was a total unicorn. And but I learned an enormous amount wearing so many hats. It was a small independent station, and you just learn a lot, so much. And at the time, and that was the TV station. Then post TV station, I got involved in content creating and songwriting. I was songwriting for while I had my TV station too, but post TV station, I got into children's content and songwriting, and hence the radio station you mentioned, I Read to Know, iHeart Radio. It's 5 years old now. I can hardly believe it.
Isn't that great?
It is. It's phenomenal. It's a children's station, children and family, and it's on iHeart Family as well. And boy, what a neighborhood on my iHeart block, on the iHeart Family. My one neighbor to one side is Disney, Disney Junior, Nickelodeon, PBS. So I feel real blessed to be in that company.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and we're holding our place. We're it's 5 years old, and our format is unique because we have music, stories, and musicals, and I'm writing all the content for this now. And our tagline is, I Read to Know Makes Your Brain Grow. So it's fun, it's educational, it's for children and families all day, all night, like I said, 24 hours.
Right.
And I just love it. It's was such a blessing because a lot of times when you're in TV, you always say, boy, I'd love to be in radio too, and then vice versa, radio. No, I'd love to be in TV. So now being 25 years in TV and now these 5 years in radio, I feel really blessed to still be, in the industry like this. And iHeartRadio is a magnificent partner, and it's been great.
one of the other things that I think is so great about you is that you've created so many characters. There's a lot of creativity out in the world, and there's a lot of people who can create all day long different things, but to be able to focus and come up with that many things, I think it's just so intriguing because they all have to be different, and each one has a unique personality. So it's very interesting, and I'm curious to know how that started coming about.
It's so funny you mentioned that, and you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head. The character side, that's just kind of that's a gift, and sometimes I have no idea. The inspiration is all around, and it is at any given time, on a walk, on a bike, doing tedious things, mundane tasks at home. It comes out, and I will just have this inspiration, and with these characters who you love like your children, and then you love them, and then you give them everything, like you're analogous to your children too, and you nurture them. So it's not just creating a character. Like you have, then the task is developing that character. So you're giving them this love and this, So my first character that I created was Purple Frog. And the inspiration there was very clear. It was actually a purple frog that was discovered in the rainforest in real life. And this purple frog glowed. So that just inspired me so much to create a character called Purple Frog, but then Purple Frog became a glowing example, and he lit a path for the princess and all kinds of, he's been involved in a lot of stuff since then.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And he has a lot of songs, and he has a whole load of friends, and so sometimes they're very clear-cut inspirations. And it's also a little guy that has that they're only about, I think only 100 of them in the rainforest. They're very critically endangered. So that just attracted me. So they all have a backstory, and they all have a personality. And the beautiful thing about children is that they feel every bit of love and time and energy that you pour into these characters. They really do. Children are brilliant and very insightful, and they get it. And that's why when you perform live to these children, or even the feedback I get from the radio station, the questions they ask and the comments they make. So so Purple Frog is one of 150 characters. So to date, I created 150 characters. The character families are Pasta Pals, Purple Frog and Friends, of course. Mary Jane and the Holidays. That's a girl group that only has concerts on holidays, but every day is a holiday in their world. And Elsha and Splash Dance, they're mermaids who are poets and rappers. And these are all musicals too. So because remember, my 5-year-old world, I just kept on going. They're all musicals. The Adventures of Eshi, that's an Ethiopian elephant, and her cast of friends. Puppies of Puccini. They are rescue puppies at a dog pound called Puccini's Dog Pound, and they sing opera to escape their fate, and they finally escape and become opera stars. That's actually a children's musical on my station that I wrote. So we have I know I'm forgetting a lot of, but all of those Geek Street friends, their little gadgets come to life. There's a big family, and there's 150 to the family thus far.
Wow. And you've, in addition to, you've written books, and several books. I mean, isn't it upwards of 75?
Yeah, I wrote them because what happens is the way I go about it is I create the character, but then the character, in order to give him or her the personality and the backstory, I write the story, and then the story always has music. So I write the story, write the books, and my books, I was lucky enough to, when I first started writing children's books, they were embraced. Very lucky to have them be picked up, internationally distributed worldwide, and then was able to tell so many stories about these cast of characters, and then ongoing stories. So, like, for example, The Adventures of Eshi, the Ethiopian Elephant, that's a 12-book series. So, yeah, the books just kind of go along with everything, and then the music goes along with all of it. And then that was the inspiration for I Read to Know. So I had this big, giant bundle of content, and I said, boy, this makes sense for a radio station where you could have a mix of stories and music and children's musicals. And that was the inspiration for that one.
I love that because children, especially, their brains are, especially with the first 5 to 7 years, they're just taking in everything. And, it's so much fun listening to positive, upbeat, children's stories or music with your child versus, some of the other things, video games and all these other things that are, I know people are probably going to get mad at me, but I call them babysitters. And I don't like it when electronics are my kid's babysitter. Like, you have to set a timer. But with an educational program like that, I think it's so imperative to the child's learning and the abilities that they, develop over time. And I really think that that's a huge, huge, huge role in their positive upbringing. I really think that everybody should put their children into a program like this, which is great that you've created. Like I said, I'm so super impressed, and I feel like I'm fangirling right now because you've done so many amazing things, and that most people would only think about one aspect of it. And it's just it is so inspiring, everything that you've done and that you continue to do. You're not slowing down at all, and I know that you've got more things in the works, and I don't know if you're up to talking about some of those things, but you've done so much for the entertainment industry and for, children all over that I'm just excited to see where you go next.
Well, funny you should mention that the newest inspiration is my brand new radio station called American Busker iHeart Radio. And that inspiration was from, like I said, I feel like I have, both sides of the fence where my heart and soul is, a songwriter and a writer, and creatively, I know I can connect with people. I admire people that make music. I mean, I can connect with their soul. I can connect with all the things, that people go through. I mean, even people don't even understand sometimes what the process of writing a song, and that process and how it's a beautiful thing, right, but also, the work that's involved and all that. So the American Busker was to tribute the indie artist. The indie artist that is, I feel, very much underserved.
Yes.
In the in the industry, but yet able to contribute some of the most phenomenal music around.
Absolutely. I say that all the time about indie artists, and there are so many talented people who have not been given a platform to showcase their talents in the music industry, and it's so much smaller than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. I really feel like people like you who are developing and creating ways for them to get their music out there, it's something that we're trying to focus on too, to give them a platform and give them a way to showcase all of their talents. So for you, having a place for them to do that and creating it and giving them opportunity to do fantastic things like that, they're not getting other places.
Exactly. You said it exactly right. And so that was my inspiration, right? So then, you going on that same formula, you work backwards, and you gotta do everything now to make it happen. So, American Busker, iHeart Radio has not even been on. We had our soft launch just shortly after Christmas, so very, very, very young. Yes. But proof positive, I invite everybody to listen to this lineup of indie artists, and I guarantee, there's a guarantee here. A lot of life does not have guarantees, but this is a guarantee. Right. I guarantee you will find something to like about this music that is 24/7 from these music makers, who I will put up against anybody out there in the world.
Yep.
It's proof of concept is with this lineup of music that I have on, and I couldn't be, I'm so proud of it. And again, it's new terrain, and I hope that we can get the support to just like I'm talking about I Read to Know now 5 years later. I hope that I can blossom in that same way with American Busker, because I truly believe in it. I believe in each and every art. Like I said, I'm connecting in a lot of different ways. The young women that are on, my singer-songwriters, the young men. It's just the truest form of artists, and hence some really beautiful music, all beautiful music. Another cool thing, so you say, well, what genre is your station?
I was just going to say.
Yeah, what genre? Well, here's an interesting thing. We are listed in a couple of different genres. So iHeart has us listed in the rock genre, and we do have we have some good rock tunes. Also, we're listed in the alternative. We're also listed in the mix, and we're also listed in variety. And so I guess the counter would say, well, you don't know who you are. Well, no, we do. We do know who we are, but we are just in that little bit of difference where you have that diversity, and and then also country. So we're going in this direction where it's a specialty station. It's something that you don't hear. It's a mix of music that you don't hear, and refreshing and innovative, and So I invite people to take the challenge because I guarantee you're going to connect with these music makers. That's some really great artists on there, each and every one.
And nowadays, you have artists more and more that are like, they can't be put into a box because they do this, they do that. And so a station that includes every genre, those artists are going to have a place where they fit in, yet still stand out. Which
so well said, Missy. And I'm not putting them in the box, too. See, because that's my soul connecting with theirs. I know, I'm feeling every track that, I'm getting, a lot of music, and I listen to every submission, ultimately, that gets to me, and I'm not going to put people in a box. And so that's what's refreshing too about the playlist on American Busker, iHeartRadio.
Now, for people who have their iHeartRadio apps, and is it easy to find? Tell them where to go, because I want to make sure people can. You know what? I am new to the iHeartRadio. I don't have music apps on my phone. I'm such a boring person when I listen to everything on my computer.
Well, if you're on your computer, you would simply just put in Google American. Now, granted, iHeartRadio is available on 2,000 devices, 260 platforms. There's 150 million registered users, and there's 250 million monthly listeners, meaning like your walk-in listeners. The ubiquity of iHeartRadio is magnificent because it's on Roku, it's on Comcast, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on your computer. And getting back to that, if you're on your computer, you would put in your search bar, Google search, and say American Busker iHeartRadio, and then the page comes immediately up. And on your cell phone, same thing, but then it would be into the app world where you have to do a sign up, and it's a free sign up. But also it's on all these other platforms, 260 platforms that you can find it. And then now iHeart just did a very big automotive where it's in cars and
yes, I just saw that actually recently.
And this is a road trip station.
Something for
everyone. Where you would really want to take, because I've taken a lot of road trips in my life, and this is that kind of station that will really give you some nice moods along the way. But it's American Busker. Now, busker is a term that not a lot of people are familiar with, but it means street performer. And we do have a lot of artists, of our indie artists, that started out as street performers.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. I love that. And being here in Nashville, I get to see street performers all the time, and so many of those people just blow me away.
Magnificent.
Just absolutely blow me away.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been to New Orleans, but I hear that they have an amazing street.
They absolutely do.
Performers as well.
They do. And I want to get, and I invite every one of them, and they make beautiful recorded music too. Mm-hmm. But they learn about the artistry of performing right from the most organic place you can possibly learn it, and from the street. So the analogy, American Busker, iHeartRadio, is kind of like the station is the street. And the street is where everybody joins. You have diversity. You have everybody joining together, all inclusive, not putting anybody in a box. Everybody gets to express themselves, and hopefully you have a great. I feel it's a great listening experience. A lot of energy and a lot of artistry.
Absolutely. And honestly, for those who are listening who don't know where to go to send you their stuff or to get involved, how does the artist get involved?
The artist, I do have some feeders. I can we could probably post them. So I have feeders, different individuals that will and kind of entities that kind of but they'll send everything to me now. They're not sifting through. And then everything comes to me through those feeders, and then I listen to everything.
Oh,
absolutely everything.
That. You get ahead of the game. You get to listen to everybody before it's out there. That's a really awesome job, actually.
Well, you know why? Why? Because like you said, when you're a songwriter, what's always the trepidation? Oh, I'm gonna send this and nobody will listen, right?
Right.
Well, I want to to change that dynamic. Or what about when new songwriters did get a minute on the radio before, and especially on a top 40, it would be in a make it or break it kind of thing. You know, they did that for the kids, for teens, and inevitably teens would call in because it's fun to break it, because the radio station would do that breaking sound. So it would be, but how disenchanting for the person. You know, there's a human being that wrote that song, and they are getting some airtime, but they're getting their record broken. Now, it was all in good, you know, it wasn't any kind of mean-spirited thing, but it was the only way that a top 40 could introduce, and then, you know, you walk away with having a song broken, and it's a bad feeling. Hey, and I know it firsthand. I had a song on a top 40 station, and it was already on worldwide, and I had Jose Feliciano played the intro guitar. So the guitar was just about unbelievably beautiful to the highest degree, as only Jose Feliciano can do, right? And the song played, and then the DJs did their thing, and of course then it was broken. I was sitting there going, oh my goodness. But, you know, then it eventually got into the playlist. But, so I know how that feels. So I don't want people going through a lot. And a lot of these people, they have gone through so many things in the music industry, and I hope this is a more happy and accepting place for that indie artist.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to watch this grow, because honestly, it's in its infancy stage. So this is going to be an incredible journey for you, for the indie artists, for us, for everyone involved. And I'm just really, really, really excited to watch where it goes from here. Is there anything else that you would like to say or talk about that we'll discuss before I let you go? Because I know interviews with me, I am chatty. I can just keep going all day long, especially when I'm interested and enamored with the person that I'm speaking with.
Well, you're just absolutely a delight, and I love what you and yours are doing with Center Stage. And of course, I adore Nashville. It's such an honor, and I agree with you too that I hope that American Busker grows. We're just a little infant. We're in the incubator infancy stage.
Yes.
We are just a little baby, and I hope that I'm giving it a lot of love, and with outstanding young women like yourself, and Center Stage magazine, and getting the word out. We can nurture this baby and make the baby grow through love and nurturing, and
absolutely,
I'm praying for that, and and entertain people, and at the same time give a lot of people chances. And I think that's a pretty good thing, and I hope it continues as well. And I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. And like I said, what you and yours are doing is just phenomenal, and where you're doing it from is phenomenal. So it's all good.
We're definitely glad to be on this journey, and we love being able to meet and work with people like you who honestly are putting those artists out there, getting their names out there, and trying to help others. And that's exactly what you do. You know, when you see people come into the business and it's all about what can I do, how can people help me, and then they're not giving anything back, it's not a good situation, and it doesn't come across well. And so we want to partner with people who are like-minded and put the artist where they need to be and really try to help lift them up. And so I'm glad that we have been able to get to know you a little bit more, get to know what you've done, and bring you to the forefront of our audience as well, because they need to know that other entities are out there that want to help them.
Exactly right. And you know what I always think? The best is yet to come.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. And I cannot wait to talk with you further about so many other things. And our audience will have to stay tuned for that, guys. So until next time, we'll see you soon, everyone.